Lots to talk about, college football playoff games, Bama recruiting, and more right here on Elephant in the Room with Jake Coker. I'm Mick Gillispie. Let's get the show started the only way that we know how to do it. That's with the most compelling open and all of podcasting. All right, with Jake Coker, I'm Mick Gillispie, talking Bama like we do on the show twice a week. We're going to try to hit Tuesdays and Thursdays. We'll see if we can make that happen. But good to see you, my friend. Let's talk recruiting right out of the chute, because Kalen DeBoer and company are sweeping through Alabama and Mississippi right now, seeing some of the best players in the country that are close by.
Yeah, I know they were just in Mobile earlier this week. I mean, I think they were there early in the morning till late that night, stayed the next day. I know they're working South Alabama pretty hard. Didn't really catch up too much on the other areas, but we all know who in Mobile is a pretty hot target, and got to work on this area. This is neck of the woods in Alabama.
Yeah, how about Phillip Rivers' son Gunner is a sophomore over here on my side of the bay, and it's like pretty funny to think that Phillip didn't end up going to Alabama. He went to NC State, from Athens, and then now he's brought like all 11 of his kids down here to the this side of the bay. I want to say North Shore. Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You're what we call a snowbird, It's 35 degrees outside. I'm surprised you don't have sunscreen on your nose.
I hate the cold.
It is kind of crazy. That just shows you. I mean, people never know. They never have known. I mean, some guys just fall through the cracks. I don't think he was ever offered by Alabama or Auburn.
No.
I think he kind of just slipped through, and NC State found him. And I knew some of the guys at NC State when he came in, and they just absolutely loved him. And one of our strength coaches at Florida State was his center. And we had another administrative guy who was head of operations at NC State when they brought him in, and they just could not believe that nobody else within the state of Alabama got him, and they were lucky enough to have him at NC State. And it's crazy. You watch his son throw the ball, and it's like, I mean, it's a carbon copy. He's just, a little smaller right now, but the way he throws it, the way he moves, it looks like, it is a little Phillip Rivers. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because, he had that unique style of throwing the ball.
Oh, yeah.
You can't teach that. That's just a genetic thing, and he throws it the exact same way. It's crazy.
Yeah, probably going to be an NFL Hall of Famer too, Phillip Rivers. I mean, one of the all-time great quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, he never won one, did he?
Now, he didn't win one, but he was in it a lot.
He's one of those guys that's in like the Dan Marino class, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, but just wasn't quite able to get there. Just not on the right team, not the right fit here and there. I mean, what a stud.
Yeah, crazy. So is this a good time for us to announce that you're going to work on having Jake Coker II, Jr.?
Yeah, I'm still trying to sell my wife on that, but
you'd love to be that guy. You'd love to be that dad. Look, he throws just like Jake. That's why Phillip's got 11 kids, which I don't think you'd mind that either.
Yeah, well, if he threw just like me, people might say, well, you may peak in college.
Hey, you won a champion. Get a ring. Put a ring on that finger. I don't think anybody thinks that's short of an accomplishment.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, I'm playing around, but
Yeah.
no, hey, it is what it is. It's fun no matter what. I just need a hunting buddy.
Yeah, right.
I gotta get my daughters. I gotta get them into it.
Well, those guys are hitting the recruiting trail pretty hard, and we talked about it a little bit last show that Coach DeBoer is winning over coaches and families and stuff. But I feel like that's the one area where Alabama has got to win, and that's getting the elite prospects within the 3-4 hour circle that around Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have talked about it a bunch, and especially in this day and age when you've got a brand like Alabama where people are deeply in love with that brand, that school, that atmosphere. Uh, Greg Burns has done a great job. Of course, we've always had a big name, and Coach Saban has obviously paid dividends in terms of making that brand bigger and creating loyal fans. And that goes a long way with a lot of kids, especially in high school, that have always wanted to play for Alabama. And I think in this day and age, you got to really get a lot of those kids who love Alabama, want to play there. And it means something to them to play there more than maybe what a couple $100,000 somewhere else would mean to them. I think you got to have a real stable environment and a core group of guys, to kind of build upon. And I think that starts in Alabama and in local areas. Uh, Again, that builds culture, that builds pride within the program. I don't necessarily think that was the case when I was there. We had a lot of guys, from Texas, Georgia, kind of all over the place. But when they came to Alabama, I think they understood the seriousness, or at least the pride that the fans had in the program and the kind of support they brought. Nowadays it's changing. I mean, you look at Carson Beck. Can you imagine leaving Georgia in that scenario? I mean,
Yeah.
you've had 2 years to start. You've built that kind of legacy there. I mean, you're going to be the starter next year, and you hit the transfer portal.
Well,
I mean, that's just an odd to me.
If he doesn't go to the NFL draft, I mean, I'm sure he's just fielding offers, right?
I mean, yeah, but golly, man, at some point, to me, when you're the starter, they roll the red carpet out for you. I mean, you're the guy. You've seen Coach Smart, what he's done, and supporting him in the locker room, in the media. I mean, look, this is to me, this is a totally non-emotional take. I mean, I think just actions kind of prove where your mind is. To me, that decision right there, making that announcement, that just kind of shows, hey, this is all transactional.
Right.
I'm playing here. This place gave me a great opportunity, but at the end of the day, it's about NIL money. And I understand, he's probably doing what Jimmy Sexton does with coaches, putting his name out there. May have no interest in leaving Georgia. I don't know, just trying to get more money out of the people at Georgia to pay him more if he does stay. Just to really, he's probably trying to get that NIL offer up as much as possible. See how much he can make if he stays at Georgia versus if he goes in the second or third round in the NFL. Which place is he going to make more money?
Right.
And honestly, if he doesn't go in the first round, that money in Georgia is probably going to be pretty close to what he'd make in the NFL. And at that point, it's a toss up of where you want to be.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Again, I kind of hate to see that. It's all business now, and I just hate to see. It just shows a little bit of a lack of loyalty to me to even mess with that as a leader of a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know coaches do it. I mean, I know coaches do it,
Yeah.
and you hate to see that as well. I guess just in my opinion, and from from an abstract point of view or an emotional point of view, you always kind of look at the players as being more a part of the team or more a part of the tradition. Kirby's different. He played at Georgia. I think he has an ultimate loyalty to Georgia. I think that was his dream school, so you kind of look at him differently. I mean, if Kalen DeBoer were to do that at Alabama, man, he's got no real ties back to Alabama outside of him being the coach. So, you don't think of him as that figurehead of the program that played here, like a Ray Perkins or a Mike Shula or something like that. But when you play there, you just
Bryant.
You just feel like there's a little bit more of an emotional tie there, and you don't want to see those games being played. But again, I get it, and it probably is a leverage move, but it's just weird. It's just weird to see.
It is. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong. I think he put his name in the transfer portal just to see what the value would be, but I still think he's going to go in the NFL draft. He's not out of the draft, right? He just threw his name in there, and I guess a team could buy him out of the draft, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I mean. And I also think that I can't imagine he would actually leave Georgia if he were to stay. I mean, what I'm saying is, it's like Jimmy Sexton's move. I mean, it's like him throwing Lane's name in the hat for Alabama and Florida, and then Lane gets a extension or an increase in pay at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Because all the interest at other places.
Yeah.
There was I think that's
zero.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably the ultimate goal there. If he's
the first 25 guys would have had a heart attack and die before they'd have hired Lane Kiffin. That's the legacy that he left in Tuscaloosa. I've heard that from some good sources. I'm being serious. I heard that from some people. So that this isn't off the cuff. From some very good sources. But it got him paid. It got him paid,
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no telling. I'd love to hear. I can't imagine some of the texts and conversations that Jimmy Sexton has had with some of these reporters, just spreading rumors and messing with people. I mean, it's kind of like the jokes I make about being the chairman of the disinformation campaign for recruits that are committed to other places. Just creating false rumors left and right.
Yeah. Well, what I said's true, but what I want to ask you this: one of the guys that we're keeping an eye on is Anthony Tank Jones. He went to your high school, St. Paul's. He's a 5-star edge. He might be the best player in the state. When you get like Kalen DeBoer shows up and Christian Robinson shows up, when two coaches show up to see you, what's that like? What's the process like? It's the middle. Like, there's no football going on. Do they get you out of class? Do you get to go hang out with them at lunch? Like, do you go to the football office and they're down there? Like, how do your parents show up?
No, for me, I mean, when I was in high school, Jimbo and Damian Craig showed up, and I just went down to coach's office. Coach Perry was our head coach, former Auburn guy. But he had Jimbo and Damian come down to his office, spent some time with him there. And then ultimately, I mean, that was kind of just a preface meeting before they came over to the house later that night. And so we spent a lot of time together. And then
does your mom cook for him?
I can't remember. I know that my mom and my stepdad cooked steaks for Coach Saban, and he turned them down. That was a strike against old Coach Saban, but it still worked out. I think he rarely eats at these in-home visits. I guess that's just something because Jonathan Allen said the same thing. Said he came over and didn't eat after my mom cooked him dinner. So, I don't know. I guess that's his thing. Just don't refuse to eat at in-home visits.
You got to win a lot to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I think it's gotten to the point. I think it had gotten to the point where Coach Saban made the rules.
and Coach, this steak's for you. He's such a weird guy, but I love him. Like even seeing him on like game day, like he's gotten a lot more comfortable, but like I watch him and I'm like, it's part of his charm at this point.
Well, no, I think that he is so bothered by not being productive. Like he can't just hang out. No, he cannot. He can't just chill out and enjoy the scenery. He's got to be doing something, working towards something. I mean, I'd almost guarantee you, like during the off season when he's not on doing radio or anything like that, he's probably cutting his own grass, edging his own yard.
Hair? He's cutting his own hair. I'm just kidding. I got a friend that has one of those. So.
Yeah, hey, he ain't doing what Robbie Zell said he was doing. Just sitting in the yard watching the ducks shit on the lake.
That's one of the funniest stand-ups ever. Oh, that's so good, man. We should just get him on here and let him be Saban for a show.
He was at South for a while. He just got a job. Where did he just got a job somewhere as the OC somewhere. Can't remember where it was. I saw that the other day.
Good for
He's
him.
moved up pretty quick, man.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about coaching?
Me?
Yeah, you.
No. I knew I wasn't coaching my freshman year in college.
Those guys get paid a lot.
Huh?
I said those guys get paid a lot. Once you get past like the graduate assistants and stuff, you get into like OC money, man. I mean, that's different tax bracket.
Yeah, I mean that's great. But man, not a whole lot of time with the family.
A lot of work.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. And your 2 kids into 11.
I feel like Yeah, I mean, I feel like I get home a little bit late a lot, and I'm out of town. But man, those guys it's a different world. I mean, I think they probably get like 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks truly off. And I don't even think it's that much.
All right. Well, look, let's go into these games. And I know some of you are going to have this game will be over by the time you see it, but Penn State and Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. You got Riley Leonard, who is a lot like Phillip Rivers, right? No in-state offers, but is playing at Notre Dame and getting the job done. I got to pull the line up here. Penn State is a 1-point favorite, and the over-under is 45.5. What you got?
Yeah, I like Riley Leonard a lot. He's my favorite quarterback in the playoff. But I see that line. I see where the public is. Penn State, I think they've grown a lot in the last half of the season. I think both teams on the other side are better than these two teams. I think Notre Dame, they had the luck of the Irish last week. Georgia has playing their second string quarterback. Georgia, a lot of turnovers, kickoff return for a touchdown. I know that's not a luck thing, but it kind of is. And I think Georgia didn't help themselves in that game. Notre Dame, I think they only had 90 yards passing last week and beat Georgia, which is, really tough to do unless you have a lot of help. A lot of good field position, a lot of touchdowns, and in other ways than just offensive touchdowns. Again, public's all over Notre Dame. I'm going Penn State. I think they edge them out this week.
All right. And then the other game tomorrow is Ohio State taking on Texas in the Cotton Bowl. It is all Ohio State. They're a 6-point favorite. 53.5 is the over-under. What you got?
I'm good. So, to me, Ohio State is the most talented team in this playoff. I think they have. I mean, obviously, talent doesn't change. They've been the most talented team this year. You watch them. I mean, all year long, they just didn't seem to play up to par for them. Then finally, they lose to Michigan. I felt like that was so similar to watching an Alabama team under Coach Saban lose one of the first 3 games of the year and just completely turn it back on. And watching that Ohio State-Tennessee game. I mean, ever since then, they have looked like a different team. Line 6, public's all over Ohio State. Texas still a pretty good team. I mean, you can never count out a team with a quarterback like Quinn Ewers, and people can say what they want to say. Quinn Ewers, he's an older guy. He makes a lot of good decisions. He's accurate. He has his moments. I wish he was a little bit more aggressive, or at least, you watch Texas and you watch Quinn Ewers. I think a lot of the guy, I think he's a great guy. I'd just like to see him lead with a little bit more force and be a little more dynamic out there. But I think he's going to keep him in it. Don't know if Texas is winning the game, but I think they cover.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to take Notre Dame, and I'm going to take Ohio State in the national championship game, and I think they both win and cover.
Man, fading me, huh?
Yeah, going to do that.
That worked out well for you last week.
Yeah, it didn't go too well. I still think like this college football playoff seeding needs to be rethought. They need to reward teams for playing tough schedules. But you know what? Because I look at the path that Penn State took to get to where they're at. Give me a break. Notre Dame had to beat Georgia. That's a really good win for them. Ohio State's had to go through Tennessee and Oregon. I mean, that's a really tough path, but I don't see them as a number 8 seed, even though they're ranked 8th. So, but they got the best players. I mean, they went out and paid for all those guys in the transfer portal, and those guys are showing up now when it counts. All in all, though, as we get off here, final thoughts on this college football playoff, at least where we are right now. Are you a fan of it?
Oh, I think they will have cleaned it up a little bit next year. I think they caught enough flack this year. I think they're going to put the best teams in next year, but I think we get a couple good years in and they make the same mistake on down the road, unless they expand it, to be honest with you. I mean, that tends to be the way it is. They get it right for a long time until Danny Cannell complains enough, and then they put the team in that doesn't deserve it. They get blown out, and then we're back on track.
Back to square one. Well, Jake, I want to tell everyone that our show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of MyBookie.ag. We appreciate them so much. Double your initial deposit when you throw down in the sports book. So get in there. You got all the winners. He just gave you all the winners. MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of them. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Get in the comments section, everybody. On Cover Crimson and covercrimson.com. We're on there talking on the message board. Clint Lamb keeping you updated on recruiting, transfer portal, coaching moves, all that stuff. And we appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Anything that I missed?
I think you got everything. I think we're good.
Roll Tide, everybody.